Fantasy Six-Pack Hour with your hosts, Joe Bob and AJ Applegarth.
All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, as usual, for baseball here, we got Mr. AJ Applegarth, fresh from Camden Yards.
Right. Opening
day here. And Mr. Dap Scout. What's going on, guys?
Loving the bottom row. That's all I can say. I always love the bottom row here, as long as AJ is where he needs to be. But this has been awesome so far. We're watching games. It's still live as we're kicking off the show, and I'm excited. This is awesome. It's finally here.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Looking forward to baseball season. And we had our first action today, obviously, but we're going to talk about all that. Before we jump in, though, I just want to remind you all to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We appreciate it. And, of course, jump over to FantasySixPack.net. Become an all-access member where you can get access to our award-winning rankings. We have our pitching and hitting planners that we just launched for this week. Those will be available for you. You're going to get all of our DFS advice. Dave Eddy has a new piece that's coming out daily for that. Chris Robin will be doing something as well. And then, of course, you get to jump over to Discord, get access to our members-only channels over there, where you get to talk to all of us. And including all those guys as well. Ask your league specific questions, your lineup specific questions for your DFS and all that good stuff. So,
hey Joe, I did want to just one thing about Dave Eddy. You know, I have told multiple people to just stop saving money and just go all in with Dave Eddy. I think it's the safest way to save money for retirement. I think everybody should just go that route. He's winning too much money, and you want to be along for the ride. If you want to be Elon Musk, then you need to go with Dave Eddy. It's just the correlation's just too close. Just being honest here.
Yeah,
or I don't know either that, or I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, and I don't know how to handle money at all. But it sounds sound to me.
Could be both.
Yeah, could be both.
Right.
There you go.
I mean, why not? Things
sounds logical.
Happen.
Both.
I like that. So it's always both.
So, Joe,
anyway.
Do we have anybody in the backstage?
Yeah, so we have a guest to help us here. Nate Miller, Fantasy Pros staff writer over there. What's going on, man? Happy opening day.
Yeah. How's it going, guys? I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Welcome.
Yeah.
And, of course, not much opening day to care about here around Atlanta with that game getting canceled. Although I will say it doesn't bother me so much because I'm tired of the Braves having an opening day and then a day off every single year. We wait 48 hours for game 2. So I kind of like it, but we're not started just yet.
So are you a Braves fan or you just happen to live near Atlanta?
I've been in the North Georgia suburbs since I was born in the mid 80s, so to put a date on it, and came of age to appreciate baseball in 1991, and I've watched every division championship since. So we're pretty spoiled, and yes, I've been along for all the heartbreak and all the glory.
Oh, that's great. AJ, I know that it's still a mystery what your favorite team is. It's the Yankees. Is that correct?
Totally. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been a Yankees guy since I could walk. Really, before I could talk. No, not at all. Hate the Yankees.
Yeah, because I know you named your first kid Lou. So after Lou Gehrig. So I thought
no,
that
it was
really
Mickey. It was Mickey because
Sorry,
it had to be. I almost said bisexual, but that's totally wrong. It had to be gender neutral. So. Sorry,
I
am sorry.
And we were tripping out of the gate.
I was at opening day. Okay, I had a couple of beers there, and I am now enjoying another one hours later. So it's
I think we're gonna definitely we'll cover that and along with all the other games. And if you see us kind of looking back and forth, it's because there's tons of games still going on as we speak. But we definitely have kind of our opening day reactions to a lot of storylines and some of these early games that just finished. So, Joe, where are we starting with our opening day reactions here?
Well, when you mentioned that, I guess I should actually have the presentation ready to go, huh? Let's start here with our not our late round outfield targets, but perhaps are you still in it? You want to change that slide name?
Pulse.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Paul
we're
Seawald is also not a late rounder. An outfielder.
He could be snagging some balls there. So
Nate, not an outfielder.
we wanted to put in a bunch of guys in here that basically got injured, right?
Energy.
And so one of the things here that really was the right, is leading up to these games, Garrett Mitchell especially, and for me,
this is bad.
Jordan Lawler, right? was the fact
leave
that
it as injuries.
All right,
we're good. We're good.
I'm sorry, Deb.
Just keep talking, AJ.
I've been tired all week, so sorry. Anyway,
it's all good.
Injuries.
Yeah. So I wanted to know from your perspective, Nate, like who was the biggest surprise for you? Not necessarily that they're injured, but maybe the severity of the injury or that the fact that they're injured. For me, obviously, Garrett Mitchell is the least surprising name on here after only playing 19 games last season, but I wasn't expecting the severity of what happened there to be a fractured hand. He's going to be out for a couple months. Yeah. What stands out to you, or did we miss, your biggest surprise?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Garrett Mitchell because that's maybe not the most surprising, but it's the most upsetting to me at this moment. As soon as I saw it, I think we probably all participate in TGFBI, and we had with the midweek start, opening day, we had waivers for the first time actually already come about. Naturally, I grab him. Naturally, breaks that hand. So that was very upsetting. When you've already got Yuri Perez and Eduardo Rodriguez that you drafted 3 weeks ago. so this has been brutal. There's always injuries in spring, of course. There's always early season injuries, especially with the obliques and the hamstrings and all that sort of thing. But it's been brutal this year. Maybe it's just me personally, but there seems to be a lot of late spring injuries and a lot of guys sitting on ILs or sitting day to day that is really messing folks up. I mean, I've got shares of Paul Seawald up there, TJ Friedel. That one I've got shares, but that's more in dynasty, so I just kind of hold on there. Sonny Gray, I was hoping to see come back a little earlier, but I think that's the least concerning of mine. And Josh Lowe, again, dropping that guy 50 to 60 spots in my rankings over the last couple of weeks. It's rough out there.
Well, yeah, Josh Lowe, I don't think anybody's expecting to get a full season out of him. But again, being this early, I was talking to Joe before this show went live, and I was talking about the fact that last season we felt that we had a ton of injuries because of the pitch clock. It seemed like all the pitchers got hurt. This year, it seems like everybody, yes, there's some pitchers and yes, some relievers for sure. But it seems like a lot of the position players got hurt this season. And like you said, it's not just the soft tissue injuries as well. It's some pretty severe stuff, obviously, with Friedel and Mitchell standing out there. So, the
one that got me was Matt McLean. And I know that's not on this list, but I know that was last week. We got the news pretty much right before the show that something showed up on the MRI. Yeah. Well, now, he got surgery. He's out probably at least till August. I mean, that's just oh my God. I drafted him in 2 different leagues. Kind of took a reach for him because I had missed, he was one of the last power speed guys that I was actually excited about left on the board. And I was and he was middle infield. And I was all right, I'm just going to do it. And I did it. And I'm kicking myself for it now. And I'm God, I knew not to draft the guy that was already injured and I did it anyway. So that pisses me off.
He could probably recover quicker if he went and visited Noelvi Marte.
That hurts me because I have Marte in so many damn dynasty leagues, and I was I don't have to draft a shortstop. I got Marte, and he's no, I'm going to take every supplement on the planet. Yeah, AJ, who you got? Who stands out to you, buddy?
I mean, on this list, I like relievers because I tend to go towards them more than starters and try to play the ratios game in my roto leagues. I mean, obviously I have some starters, but Seawald, kind of hurts for that reason. But just, like Nate said, the obliques, we see this every year. It's nothing new. It's not that it's a surprise. It's just, here we go again. So just kind of tracking those two guys, seeing when that's gonna, wear off from them. But actually, the wrist fracture from Friedel, I think that one hurts the most. Pun intended, not intended, I guess. Just because we've seen what wrist injuries can do to players and how it saps the power. So I think that's gonna be a lingering thing for him, and I kind of had high hopes for him as, shockingly enough, a late round outfield potential pick. But
I mean, hey, my title was
just
right.
trying to make Joe feel a little better about his being tired.
All right, well, here's my question to you, AJ, real quick on TJ Friedel, because I was off, and I always love doing this game every once in a while. So sorry about this, Nate. But how old do you think TJ Friedel is?
How old do I think he is?
Yeah.
I mean, looking at his picture, he looks like the scary doll named Benson in Toy Story. Okay. So I'm gonna go with like 22.
He's 28. I thought the same thing. I thought he was I thought he was a young 23, 24. Yeah. That's exactly what I was hoping you were going to say, actually. We did not rehearse that. But I thought TJ Friedel, I was like, oh, he's a young guy. I was like, baseball years, right? 28 still super young. But I was like, oh, that's not good. Yeah, I would absolutely, he would be off my board with wrist fractures, that's power sapping. But it's crazy. And I know we've beaten this incredibly so, Joe, in so many of our shows. But Cincinnati was supposed to be this big cluster, big mess in the infield, big cluster. And now
interesting.
Yes. And now they're picking up people like at bus stops now. They're just like, can anybody play? Please come to the stadium.
It's funny because like really, really early on in like all of my process, like I'm talking like December, I was like, Jonathan India like had a pretty decent season. He could be really good. And then I started looking a little bit deeper and I was like, wait, where is he going to play? And so like I sunk him like a rock, and now it's like, oh, hey, there he is. He's gonna be awesome again. So like, I was right before I knew I was gonna be right. So Nate, I wanted to ask you a quick question about this Sewald. How far did you put him down in your rankings? Because like we have no timetable for his return. I dropped him to like 250-ish overall, 230 overall, I think. I don't remember totally now. But he dropped quite a bit for me because I'm just so.
We talking about draft rankings or right now?
I did. This was the rankings that were due this morning. So draft rankings.
Sure. Honestly, I think I got too angry and didn't adjust it too much. No. But no,
at least you're honest. At least you're honest.
The bold strategy kind of hope it worked out for you.
It's one of those where I'm like, how many times do I have to adjust this because there's another injury every single day? I mean, an injury, it's one of those things, like you said, relievers, and I was really high on him because I thought his value didn't equal up to what he's capable of as a closer on a good team. There was so many closers going ahead of him that I either like about roughly the same or even maybe Sewald over them. If he gives you, he's the type of guy that can rack up a lot of saves in a hurry and give you good ratios and a decent strikeout rate. I don't think you have to adjust him too much, but he goes back to maybe like the Alvarado. I hate to say Leclerc because he's going to break everyone's heart again at some point. But I mean, we're putting him back there with those guys now instead of like the Munoz's and the Raziel Iglesias and guys like that where he was. But I wouldn't over adjust, and I would definitely hang on to him.
Yeah, you just have to hope he can actually bounce back, come back sooner rather than later from it. But I have him below the Leclerc range, so it's right in there though. There's a whole slew of guys, and of course when you upload to Fantasy Pros, you're mixing in like starters with the relievers just to play nice with the system. So it's a little skewed, but we got it. So all right, let's move on. Right, so we got the injuries leading up to the day, and we've got our dreaded opening day injuries. Oh boy, that
So
first
these are
name.
the injuries that happened today, and we were just looking at that pre-show, Joe. That Royce Lewis, that looks like a couple months.
Not good.
Yeah, that's rounding from second to third, pulls up short of third, goes over it, just grabbing that hamstring.
He couldn't stop. Like
he couldn't stop.
he couldn't. That's about like it pulled like a good 3 strides before third, and then he just like he overran it because like he couldn't pull it on the brakes. Not because he was going so fast, that's part of it, but because like when you pull your hamstring, man, like you can't. It doesn't. The tension. You can't put it back, so it's done, man. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he's out a few months. That looked bad.
In another world where the injuries are turned off on MLB in real world, Royce Lewis has won his 3rd MVP. No doubts about that. I'm sorry, Nate. I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you gonna say? I apologize.
No, I'm honestly tracking right there with you because if you look at my Twitter from this morning, I always put out my projections on opening day and AL MVP Royce Lewis, and I saw that home run in his first at bat. I'm like, here we go, man! All the haters, and then there he goes, and so it's like imagine how good the Twins could be with a healthy Buxton and Royce Lewis. It just.
And Max Kepler and
yeah,
and you name
Kepler
it,
at least
man.
give you 120 games. I mean,
yeah, but he'll never give you the 120 games that you need, right? Like somehow his injury always happens at the worst time for you in fantasy, and then he'll come back strong after your playoffs are over, and you're just like, Kepler every time.
Yep.
But look, I don't care who your favorite teams are. It's one of those things where there's players that just have gotten to the point now where you're just like, please just get a healthy 120, 130 games. And Royce Lewis is that guy for me now, along with Buxton, of course. But I just got to the point now where I won't draft him, but I'm hoping to see some of that brilliance.
Yeah,
Nick
he was
Senzel,
going too high for the injury risk.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it comes down to it. Like when we were doing our ADP shows before this, we were talking about some of these ADPs. I'm like, okay, yeah, in a vacuum where we have never seen this person play, sure, I will absolutely put Royce Lewis in that 5th round, whatever. But we all know he'll be hurt. There'll be no way he plays a full season, and sadly, didn't even make it one game in. But that Nick Senzel injury, I mean, that's just another time where we're just like, going back to let's kick the Reds while they're down. I'm sorry. Not. I apologize. I said the Reds. He's with the Nationals now. My bad. I remember him being drafted with the Reds and all that. My apology. And he goes to another team with a red helmet.
He took it with him.
Yeah, exactly.
He did.
Let's put a different letter on the front.
Exactly. But yeah, Justin Steele though, that one there.
Brutal.
I mean, he does that really. The thing that you don't want. Injuries always happen when they try to cover. Try to play fielder. Right. He's trying to scoop, I guess, and I don't know what else to call it. It's not a very athletic play, but he's doing it, and he lands on his pitching shoulder, and he lands on his his glove shoulder. He just looked like he got all messed up. He got pulled out there as well. I don't know that Justin Steele one. If I had to rank them so far, opening day injuries, I'm saying Royce Lewis, number 1 with a bullet. Number 1 all the way at the top. Then big break, Justin Steele, and then Senzel because broken thumbs happen. But that Steele one, I don't know. Shoulders scare the hell out of me. What do you guys think? Anything else that kind of jumps out of you?
Well, I mean, I'm seeing Steele exited with an apparent injury to his left hamstring.
Hamstring?
Oh, they're calling it hamstring. Okay, I was going off the video. Sorry about that.
So I mean, I get it. It made sense, but I'm looking at Fangraphs right now on it.
Okay.
I mean, that's definitely a big blow. Steele was somebody who was kind of, I don't want to say a sneaky target, but in drafts he was creeping up in ADP.
Steal?
He may have been a steal.
I had to, sorry.
But he doesn't run the bases well.
But unlike the man of steel, he is not invincible. Bam.
Yeah.
But you're not entirely wrong because Justin Steele did he was dealing with a shoulder issue in spring training, and now this is a hamstring issue. I mean, this guy can't catch a break.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I knew that he was kind of banged up in spring too. So,
you guys saw the video, though, right? I mean, it looks like he lands on top. I mean, the fact that he grabs his leg is one thing, but he just lands like right on his shoulder. So I'm like, oh.
Well, so this may be a totally not at all comparable thing, but when I was growing up, I was sledding with some friends in the neighborhood, and a buddy of mine ended up hitting like one of those like orange pipeline like tubes that sticks up out of the ground.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how I missed it, but he hit his shoulder on this thing and broke his leg. So same thing, but totally different. I don't know. You're welcome, Dad.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's deep insight. I'm just it's so deep.
It's a deep dive.
I don't.
I mean, it's if AJ says it, it must be true.
Yeah.
Let's just move on.
I mean, what do you think? I'm lying about my friend? Come on.
I'm lying that you
I was there, man. You weren't.
All right. What do we got next, Joe? We doing our Hall of Famers?
Yes.
Okay. So.
We even had didn't even realize we still had the animation turned on for that text somehow.
I'm glad we do. So this is for our. This is to obviously for our viewers. This is updated to the minute because Wyatt Langford was so off the rails with his ADP. We wanted to keep everybody updated. Nope, it's not latest update. He has had 2 at-bats, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 1 sacrifice fly. So, so I apologize, Joe. That is now he's 2 for 1. Now,
so I mean, that's definitely first ballot.
Still first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah, definitely no doubts there at all, considering where his ADP was. I mean, I think the last ADP that we saw was 3rd round. Was he going as high as 3rd round? Am I lying?
I mean, his min pick on NFBC was 19.
That was a 40 team league, right?
That's second round in a 10-teamer.
So
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. But yeah, it was getting pretty close. I want to say to like 50-ish. That's still pretty bonkers because NFBC, you're talking all those like main events at the end, like those are those 15 teamers. I mean, that's 4th round. Dude, I mean, come on. It can't scream it any louder. This is Jordan Walker again this year. Like a little bit different skill set. I get it. Right. But like, stop it, people. Like, it's so risky to take on this guy, and it's you're wrong more than you're right. It's just like when you're right, man, everybody it's like, yeah, see, I told you. When you're wrong, you're like, oh yeah, I mean, he's a prospect though. Like, I mean, what did we expect? You clearly expected a lot because you drafted him in the 4th round, you dummy. Come on.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Right. Yeah. Walker, as a 21-year-old last year, had a 20, we'll cover it again. 16 home runs, 51 RBIs, and had a 276 batting average with a 342 on-base percentage. That's phenomenal. But where they were drafting him is stupid. Yeah. And if Wyatt Langford even hit those numbers again, let's say he goes 20-20, right? 20, he's probably going to have a heck more stolen bases, but 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases, that'd be a great year batting 276 and above. But that's not where people are drafting him. They're expecting 30-30. 36.
Yeah, and those numbers you just gave on Jordan Walker, those mirror, let's say, Orlando Arcia. So speaks to your point. It's like the guy's going to be great in Dynasty. I'm all about it, but if you're talking about this season, no way. I mean, Wyatt Langford's played 44 minor league games.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was just it's such a small sample size, and yeah, like he smashed pitching that he's supposed to smash. Right. Good luck. Like in the majors, like it's very few players that like are guys that you expect to just come up and and just dominate right away. And even then, like it's hard to predict that.
He had a ridiculous spring, but again, it's the same deal. Who's he facing? Go pitcher by pitcher and go situation.
Oh yeah,
situation. I mean, the lights are on now.
Yeah, we had the tweet. This was after his like 5th home run. It was from Mike Kurland, and like Kurland went through the 5 pitchers he hit a home run off of, and it was like you literally couldn't name a single one of them. Like you were like, who are these guys? Like I had no idea. But yeah. So next up is your favorite Hall of Famer, Dap. This is just for you, Mr. Victor Scott.
So,
who didn't make the team,
yes,
and then made the team,
yeah, and then broke Twitter,
and then broke Twitter.
I mean, did you see the last 2 days of just the vitriol? Like the guy is going to be an 8-9 hitter in St. Louis's lineup, and the amount of messages about Victor Scott, I've been posting about him a crazy amount because I look at him what he is, right? He was a great late round dart throw that's going to provide a ton of value. And I expect him to play 100-something games. But, I mean, it was nuts. When he got called back up, I mean, we're talking about it was love or hate. That was it. It wasn't even like, hey, let's, this is this guy who's going to provide a bunch of steals. No, it was like Asteriores is better. And, what is this? Or, Birdie is better. And I was like, okay. Or just Victor Scott will. So we're going, completely off the rails too, just to be fun. But 0-for-3, 1 stolen base. But my goodness, that speed going to first base, just insane. He definitely caused Mookie Betts to throw a ball. The reason why he doesn't have that hit, which I think is just ridiculous, because it was his speed that caused the problem. Mookie Betts had to throw that ball fast, and he just basically threw it down, bounced it to first, and the first baseman couldn't get it. But at the same time, that Victor Scott just took off, and we all knew he was going to steal second, and he did. So yeah, definitely a Hall of Famer. We're going to keep getting that as well. Nate, what side of the fence are you on? Victor Scott Hall of Famer or Victor Scott still Hall of Famer?
Well, Billy Hamilton's also a Hall of Famer too, right?
Absolutely,
because they're the same guy. He's
the same guy standing out front, isn't he? That's what I thought.
Maybe Scott will hit a little bit better than Billy Hamilton, but. I mean, as soon as I got the news, I wanted to pick him up everywhere, but I certainly wasn't drafting in him, and certainly wasn't going. I mean, you brought up Esteury Ruiz as well. I was like, yeah, to me, that's the Esteury Ruiz last season is the ceiling for Victor Scott this season, but is he really going to play that much? I mean, are they going to keep him up I feel like Dylan Carlson's 47 years old at this point, been in the league 20 years, but it's is he going to stay in the lineup? It's just too many questions. And if you can stash him on a bench right now and grab some stolen bases from him, I would, but I wouldn't expect it long term, at least not this season. Maybe he'll surprise me.
Okay, Joe. Dylan Carlson. This is another good one. How old is he?
So
he's younger than TJ Friedl.
He's been in the league 20 years. No, I'm going to go with 25.
Wow. Yeah, you're right on. He is 25.
With Nate, I do not have it open.
No, with Nate, I thought he was 28, 29. Easy. I didn't realize he's still 25. Like that was nuts to me. So I didn't expect that at all. AJ, I saw you picked up Victor Scott everywhere you had him. Are you on the bandwagon as well?
Yeah, I already had him, and then I went back out and was like, why can't I add him again? I need to fill a whole roster. This is unfair, and I don't like these platforms not allowing me to have multiple Victor Scotts.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I mean, I took him to round 36 of RazzSlam just for you, Dap.
Yep, as you should.
But yeah, got my stolen base, got my 5-pointer.
I will say I've known about Scott for a while now, though. I mean, he is an Atlanta guy, and his high school is 20 miles that way.
Oh, nice.
I do want to mention one thing about him versus Esteury Ruiz, though. His average in the minors was 290. I mean, again, cumulative, right? 290, 367 on base percentage. I don't think Esteury was doing that kind of on base percentage. I think that's always been the problem, that he wasn't going to, and he still thinks he can hit, so I think his bat's a little bit better, and obviously if he can get on base, all the better. But yeah, that's the one thing. I think people kind of downplay that bat a little bit too much, but I'm not gonna pick nits there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Just you see all those stolen bases, and you think guys like Billy Hamilton and Sturdy Ruiz. I think
Absolutely.
that there's another prospect, Luis Angel Acuna. I think he and Victor Scott are more comparable, and they do have better bats all around.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, let's jump into our game previews.
Absolutely. And again, the Cardinals
previews,
lineup is
game
great.
recaps,
And
whatever.
The important. Yeah. Well, one last thing. Victor Scott's defense is going to keep him in the lineup. So yeah. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
No, this is all you, man. You have it.
Game previews.
You can ask all the questions you want.
I'm so sorry. Won't happen again. All right. Angels and Orioles. Who really cared about this game? The Orioles are just junk. There's not a single player on there that fantasy. Not even fantasy relevant. Who are the pitchers again? Did they do any pitching? AJ, you were at the game. You want to walk us through what you saw?
Bourbon Kearns.
He doesn't actually watch the game when he's at the game. He walks around and stands in the beer lines.
And Tom Sandoval, I think, were the pitchers. Something.
Pablo Sandoval.
Right.
Yeah, I know. This one I did watch a decent amount of the game. I also did walk around a little bit and enjoyed being back in the ballpark. I like to spoil myself and my wife, and we are snobs and sit in club level now. So
how many koozies did you buy while you were there?
I didn't buy any. I brought 3 with me, you clown.
No, dude. So sorry, real quick.
I have
We're
one.
in line. We're in line at a game
one
time. Literally get up to the front of the line, and he's got a koozie already, and he just looks down and he goes, "Yeah, whatever. I'll take these 2." And I'm like, "What? Like, why? You have like 40 koozies at home. I know you do."
Oh, I do.
He's like,
I definitely.
He's like, "Why not?" And I'm like,
more than enough koozies to survive the apocalypse with the cockroaches, but hey, why not? When in Rome.
Are you just gonna like sew them all together and they're like a flotation device or something?
Probably.
I don't understand what's going on here, but anyway,
maybe
let's talk about the game. I'm sorry.
There's different can sizes. You've got a super mega pounder that I have one for. Then you've got the regular 16-ounce pounder, and then I've got the 12-ounce. You got to be prepared, man. You got to be prepared.
No
Nate,
comment.
were you prepared?
Were you prepared for that?
Sure.
that rousing rendition of summary of today's game.
Storytelling.
Well, speaking of storytelling real quick, I actually found out that my daughter, one of my younger daughters in her middle school, the former pitching coach for St. Mary's College, where the starter for today's game, Burns, went. So he was the pitching coach for Burns. And so we've been talking nothing. And we're actually going to invite him onto the show here in a few weeks. But he was telling me about how amazing Burns was back in college as well. So, this had 2 storylines here. We could either talk about the fact that, Trout came up and hit a bomb and everybody's like, "Oh, Trout's back." And then we saw that he's got no help whatsoever in that Angels lineup, which is what we expected. Or we could talk about how the Orioles are just doing Orioles things and Burns throws 11 strikeouts in 6 innings. Where do you want to go with this?
I think you just said it all, so I don't think we have to say anything. I think that is
he
the
was
story.
dominant. He probably could have come back out in the 7th. He was at 82 pitches.
That's fine for a first game, dude.
One hit and it's a homer. Okay, whatever. That was his only mistake. No walks.
All it did was piss
11
him off.
Ks. Yeah, seriously.
No kidding.
It's like, really? But they did not get us another hit, and it was the only other hit that they got until the 8th inning, which was another. I think it was another homer, actually. No, I'm sorry, it was not. Neto got the RBI. That's what it was. So, there's not much else to say other than the O's looked in mid-season form. They were the best team in spring training. They're potentially going to be the best team in the league this year. I wouldn't be surprised by that. I think it's between them and Atlanta in the NL, and if the Phillies can get their heads out of their asses and start off strong, then they'll be up there too.
Yeah. I will say the one thing I kind of took away from this is the fact that Mullins actually hit a bomb, played well. He was battling injuries this spring, and it was always like, which Mullins are we going to see? So it's nice to see him get a hot start there. Obviously, one game, so take everything with a grain of salt here. But yeah, great game from the O's. The Angels are going to be bad. Man, this is brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, two quick notes. I'm sorry about that, Nate Miller. What do you think about the fact that Jordan Westburg started? With that lineup, you're kind of wondering where he's going to play. Everybody's kind of excited that he made the opening day, but no idea where he's going to play. He starts. O'Hearn comes in, pitch hits for him. But are you bullish about him again from a fantasy relevancy standpoint? Are you expecting Westburg to be able to play enough, get in that lineup?
I was hoping he would. I mean, he's been a highly touted prospect for a couple of years now.
Absolutely.
But I mean, Baltimore has so many of them, and they all can play basically all the positions that Westburg does. I was surprised to see him at DH. But again, they're facing Patrick Sandoval. That's lefty. O'Hearn hits left. I mean, are we looking at a platoon coming there? I think O'Hearn starts mostly against righties. I don't necessarily expect him to be able to repeat how solid he was for them last season. I mean, they've got other guys, like we talk about those prospects, Kirsten, Kerstead down there. I don't expect to see a lot of O'Hearn, but Westburg, that positional versatility, I was a little surprised not to see him at second base. I guess the coaches know better than I do who's playing the glove, who's better with the glove. But yeah, I like Westburg. I would have liked more fantasy-wise to see him or other guys traded, maybe to a team like the Angels, who they're clearly better than most of what they're throwing out there. It's all I didn't take that many Orioles bats. I was all about Gunnar Henderson, all about Adley Rutschman. Everybody else is kind of up in the air. And when do we see Jackson Holiday? When do we see these other guys?
Right.
It's tough. I like Westburg, but the at-bats, if you're looking across a season-long roto or something, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I picked up Hayes off the waiver wire today because I had a guy hit the IL, but like Hayes is going to be another one of those, like, give it a month and a half and maybe they pull up one of the prospects, or Kouser finally starts taking his spot a little bit more. Like, I don't think Hayes' spot is safe for a full year, but for right now I'll ride it. Batting in the middle of that O's lineup, I'm gonna take that as long as I can.
Well, so interesting.
That's another one where you could say a platoon.
Yeah, exactly.
The two things to pull, piggybacking off of what you were talking about, Nate, with being surprised that he wasn't playing second, Westburg, that is. Mateo had an error throw on a double play that was Taylor. I mean, he should have made that throw, and he just didn't. And there was another play. I thought it was him. He should have had a guy out at second and then dropped the ball. So it was a bang play, but the guy would have been out. I mean, but he just slid right into him, kicked the ball out. So if that sort of play continues to plague Mateo, then maybe they start getting Westburg some more playing time at second in the field instead of DHing. That shocked me to see that today too. So and then Kouser actually came in for Santander late in the game, Joe. So I mean, they kept Hayes in.
I saw that.
I don't know if it was really mattered at that
point.
But
at that point.
Well, yeah. So but I could see him coming in for either of those guys and just kind of getting some platoon time.
Mateo. I mean, Mateo's a good shortstop, but that move to second, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I think there was 4, maybe 5, like as they were reading off the names, like making his first opening day roster. It was like, oh man, it was cool to hear, but it's like Westburg, Grayson Rodriguez, Cowser. So there was a couple other guys that got the call. So
yeah, Mateo is the Esteury Ruiz of 5-10 years ago. Where everybody was like expecting 1,000 steals from Mateo plus a bat, and so we saw that. The one thing I was going to call about the Angels lineup, though, well, actually the two things, right, is the fact that a hope or was that was where it was batting eighth, and everybody was expecting that to be kind of heart of the lineup type thing there as well. The other piece here, again, from a fantasy relevancy perspective, right, was Luis Renifo. He pinch hit it. He didn't start, and everybody was like drafting him because he had 35 position eligibility, but he's coming in. I'm hoping that's not a platoon with Drury. But it does tell you that they'll bring him in for defensive versatility. He does get a hit and a run scored. But again, I had drafted him because I could plug him in a bunch of places, especially in best ball. Yep. But that doesn't bode well, because I was expecting that position versatility meant that he's always going to be the lineup, and he obviously is coming off the bench opening.
I mean, when Rendon retires for the season after April
tomorrow, you mean?
Well, it's too long.
We'll go. Well, that's his 30-game max, right? Because
the season's too long.
Good. So, yeah. All right. Let's go another game here.
We're around the globe. All right. Yankees, Astros, two teams that nobody has heard of, right? Not very popular teams.
Bunch of bums. Miners.
But the big call-outs here that I thought were kind of interesting, especially for Yankees, right off the bat, before, again, obviously we go into the stats for the day, was Waldo Cabrera actually starting. I thought that was interesting as well. Volpe all the way down to 6. I thought he was going to be a little bit further up there. But again, Soto, Torres, I didn't think, Torres did great today. I mean, in the sense of getting on base, he walked, scored that run. But with Soto, Judge, Stanton, it's always going to be interesting who's going to be the leadoff here, because that's going to be somebody who's going to be scoring runs. I didn't think they're going to be starting with Torres, but they obviously did. And
I'll be curious though. I'll be curious though, because they acquired Birdie, right? So does he slide over? Does he take over for Cabrera at third? I kind of think he does.
Absolutely.
And then does he become their new leadoff guy? And then that moves Torres back into fourth and moves Stanton down to fifth. Yeah. That's kind of where I think it should happen. I think that's what should happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see.
But
honestly, I would swap Stanton and Rizzo and put Stanton 7th. But anyway, whatever. I think Birdie's going to change things up. They even said, the manager said, the manager did say, if Birdie was ready, if he was there and ready to go, he would play. So I think that's what we're going to be looking at.
What's interesting though is Cabrera was the one that had multiple hits for the Yankees today.
And a hell of a game. I hit a home run too.
So I mean, I do expect Birdie to be there. He's the experienced guy. I mean, DJ LeMahieu was going to be in this role, and he was one of my favorite values because of that. Not that I'm that big on DJ LeMahieu as everyone was 2 or 3 years ago for good reason, but like you were just alluding to, if he's going to hit in front of Soto, Judge, and the rest of these guys, I mean, he's going to get on base and score some runs. I was bummed when LeMahieu got hurt as well, but as soon as they acquired John Birdie, I expect to see him up there pretty soon and scoring runs and stealing bases.
Yeah,
what do you guys think about the kind of dud that Valdez put up here?
6 walks
in the first.
And that was the big thing, right? We were worried about his control. We were hey, if he can control it, then he's great. But 6 walks doesn't matter how many strikeouts you have. 6 walks.
6 walks.
3 of them to Volpe. It takes some work to walk Volpe.
I think Volpe was just. I don't know what Volpe was thinking. I thought he was going to swing. Honestly, I thought he was going to swing a couple of these pitches. Now the third time up, at that point he wasn't going to swing at anything. But Volpe, I was like, really? Like you just said, I was like, I thought he was going to swing at a couple of those balls that were low. But maybe they attached it to his shoulder and he wasn't allowed to swing. I don't know. But that,
Yankees drew 9 walks today, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Houston had 13 hits. It's not like they weren't hitting. It's just it's hard to overcome that many walks from your pitching staff. But I think both these offenses are going to be fine.
Are you sure?
No.
Astros are done.
So I think we're good there as long as the Yankees can stay healthy. That's kind of been their big deal for the last few years. Pitching for the Yankees, I think we all know it's kind of meh outside of Cole, but he's not there right now, so good luck. How shocked were you guys that they did not go get Jordan Montgomery after like why not?
They already told him to leave once.
True.
Shocked.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
come on back.
So I do have to ask you though, for the people that are in saves only leagues, which you should never be, right? Clay Holmes comes in, gives up 3 hits. That's not ideal.
No.
There as well. I mean,
glad I was fortunate enough to be forced to miss on him in a couple of leagues. It's like had him queued up. Shots of fireball. Sorry.
Hader comes in, pitches that 1 inning, hits 3 strikeouts, which but again, that does not make me feel good about the Clay Holmes shares I have.
Yeah, he's
one outing, but
yeah.
How high did you have him as your closer there, Nate?
He's right in the middle of the pack. I mean, we're somewhere in that 13, 14, 15 range, something like that.
Okay. You didn't have your lights out.
And that's exactly where I had him last season too.
Okay. Who's our anybody else have any other Yankees Astros notes?
No.
I don't think so. I think we're good.
All right, good. No injuries, please.
Not yet.
From 2 teams that nobody's heard of to 2 teams that have, everybody's got a bunch of stock in because they're just lights out. I don't know how I ended up with so many
burner of a game.
I don't know how I ended up with so many Tigers on my fan. I have too many shares of Tigers. I knew this was going to bite me. I mean, Torque with 2 hits, great. And Skubal did Skubal things, but he's supposed to do. Right, 6 strikeouts, 3 hits for 6 innings pitched. But the White Sox do not look good. But
dude, they got shut down. Dude, it looked awful. I think really the big storyline here is the White Sox pitching.
Yep.
I mean, I know the Tigers aren't like a juggernaut offense, but like, dude, like who? Garrett Crochet?
No, Garrett Crochet was supposed to be the next closer, right? 2 years ago before he got injured.
Yep.
Then he came back.
His first big league start.
Exactly. And that was the thing. I didn't, when they put him as the opening day starter, I was like, they're going to do the opener thing that Tampa Bay did. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have him in
else,
NFBC.
man.
That's pretty damn impressive.
Nice, man.
Yeah, but Robert had 1 hit. Eloy Jimenez with 1 hit as well. Andrew Vaughn, who definitely another guy who I think is like 35 years old, with the only hits for the White Sox. But Garrett Crochet. I mean,
that was impressive.
That was not on my Uno card. If you would have had me do daily fantasy, which is why I don't do that hosting there with Dave.
To be fair, again, on the Fantasy Pros site, you can only rank him as a reliever, right? So, he's my reliever 37. So he's behind a whole lot of dudes, which means if you really think about it, he's ranked really far down in the overall. It's like really not on the radar, to put it that way. Like it was very shocking to see this from him, and he'll be intriguing. I know he'll be a hot pickup immediately, right? But it'll be one of those like one of those nervous pickups. Like I'm gonna take the chance. Why not? Like I mean, back into the bench, sure, but I'm not. I don't think anybody should expect this again. But hey, we've seen crazy things happen. But
the good thing is he does get the AL Central, so it does mean that he'll get a lot of Tigers and Twins, and Royals, of course. So maybe just make sure you start him against those types of teams, which will be half the games he plays. But at the same time, I was surprised regardless. I didn't expect him to A, start, B, go for 6 innings, and C, have that many strikeouts.
Oh, this might be the interesting one. So if it plays out right, he'll get Atlanta next.
Oh, no. Yeah.
No, dog. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring it.
Not starting. But then he'd get Cleveland, and then the Royals. So I'm all over those.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I'm all in on him on Atlanta. I think he'll just strike out everybody again. Obviously, go to the
dude.
No,
me and Keith were doing the hitting and the pitching planner and like doing all the scores, and just like the massive offensive numbers that the Dodgers and the Braves always pop up. You're like, I mean, like even like we did the math, and like even Strider versus the Dodgers offense, the first formula go around was like a D score for Strider, and I was like, all right, we got to fix something here.
Yeah, right.
Because like I know that's a bad matchup, but no, that's not what we're publishing. So
we're gonna do a hard code over that grade.
Yeah. But it's just like those offenses, man, just obliterate some of the other ones, and so no, we're good. Like not pitching him against Atlanta.
Yeah, I wouldn't pitch him against Atlanta, but I do like him for the season. I mean, he was the number 11 overall pick back in 2020. He's barely pitched in the minors. And he's battled injuries, of course, but I mean, you look at the breakdown from him today on StatCast. I mean, he hit 99.8. He sat 97.6 with his fastball. He threw more pitches than Corbin Burns even. I mean, they let him go 87 pitches. The White Sox need innings wherever they can get them. I like Crochet, and also as frustrating and as depressing as it's been to watch Mike Soroka's career from Atlanta the last few years with just injury after injury for such a talented guy. He and Crochet had monster springs, and Soroka is going to be in that rotation as well. And I'm very interested to see him over the weekend.
Well, so
he's going up against Maeda.
So with that, Nate, how many innings do you think he pitches this year? I mean, even with a 20%, bump. I mean, you capped at 100 innings?
I don't know. I mean,
I think he did 50.
I expect them to turn to. They're going to turn to a guy like, they're going to turn to a guy like Eric Fetty for who they brought back from Korea to throw a lot of innings and just be a gas can. Get either he'll be good or get knocked around. Who knows? They're going to let him pitch, I believe, because guys like Crochet and Soroka, probably their most talented pitchers. You can't really expect more than, if they go over 100, that's going to be huge for the White Sox. And all eyes are on Tarek Skubal for this start, but the interesting guy, I mean, it's not surprising to anybody Skubal dominated the White Sox lineup. Crochet is he's the story.
Yeah. One last thing I just want to mention here. Kopech came out of the bullpen.
Yep.
He
rumored he's going to be their closer, and
how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
Well, but Eric Fetty, though, just real quick, Korea All-Star, MVP, and he put up a 3.86 ERA in spring training. Obviously, we don't look at that's the numbers, but you just want to see him come back stateside. I'm interested in him. I think he's definitely a wild card. I'm glad you brought that up. But I would love. I have definitely picked him up as like an SP5 in a lot of my leagues where pitching got slim fast. So it'll be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see Carpenter not starting in this game, but I guess maybe he's more of a platoon guy. Is that the read that we're getting here?
Are we talking about Kerry Carpenter?
Kerry Carpenter, sorry. Yes.
I think that's the thing. He kills righties and doesn't play much against lefties.
Yeah.
All right. Sitting against left-hander. Yep. He's but they did put him in the.
He did get into the game later, but I don't think he did too much.
It looked like maybe like sacrifice.
Yeah.
Hey, we already seen sacrifice flies from like Wyatt Langford get you in the Hall of Fame.
That's true.
All right,
next game. All right, Twins
Royals. So we got that.
So we have our first big injury, right? And we already talked about it, but it wasn't Byron Buxton. I mean,
that's coming tomorrow.
Yeah, but this one kills me just as much though. Royce Lewis, when he was getting to third, I mean, the MVP thoughts there. He looked amazing and he looked great in the game too until he got hurt, and it looks bad. Definitely looks like a multiple month injury. He was grimacing pretty hard, couldn't even finish there. So that's he's not going to be in that lineup much longer there as well. So, but other than that, what kind of anything kind of stand out to you there, Nate, in this game?
Yeah. I wish they would play Julian all the time and not just against righties, like we were just talking about. That may happen.
I might have to now.
Yeah. The other part of this game, I mean, the marquee matchup was on the mound. Everybody wanting to see Pablo Lopez follow up last season, and then Cole Reagans over in Kansas City. They were both very good against each other, and that's pretty much what I wanted to see and expected to see in this game.
Well, Pablo Lopez with 0 walks. I mean, he's not like he's a walk guy, but 0. That was the impressive part there. I mean, Reagans, of course, doing Reagans things. If you Nick Pollock or anybody pitcher list, they all have Cole Reagans tattooed across their chest. But so 5 hits, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts is nothing to sneeze at there. But on the Twins side of the fence, so Royce Lewis that had 2 hits. But Julian, I agreed. I wish he could get like offense or like outfield eligibility. That'd be great. The one guy there at the very bottom of the lineup, that's the part that I didn't expect, was Kirilloff. When he came in, he pitched hit at the number 9 hole for Margot.
Yeah.
That guy could just stay healthy too. That'd be great.
Yeah. I think we got a platoon working there as well. Although, did I see something about a Margot injury? Not positive about that.
I didn't see anything.
Would be surprising with Manuel Margot.
He was dealing with a hand injury, but
I mean,
he was hit by pitch.
Yeah.
Or no, that was a few days ago. Okay,
that was in spring.
Yeah, he got a hand contusion on the 26th, but he played today, so it looks like he'll be okay. For all the Twins fans, it's just Royce Lewis, we swear.
Julian's another one that was kind of a surprise scratch to me. Am I missing something with him too? Is he more of a platoon guy, or
so he's supposed to sit versus left-handed pitching, but with Lewis going down, Julian definitely is going to be getting more playing time.
I guess another relevant note from this game though is we talk about all those relievers being hurt. Johan Duran was probably the worst one, the best of the bunch, and Griffin Jax converting the save today with just 1 walk. I mean, they did give him a 3-run lead, but he got the job done.
So for those people that are in, saves only leagues, obviously, but also Dynasty, Jax to me is the next Duran. I mean, in the sense of stuff, pure stuff, if he could locate the strike zone, that'd be great. But Jax is definitely my guy. Was guy I drafted everywhere for this particular reason. I definitely have him back up. But if you're looking to try to find that bullpen help and Jax is still available, go grab him right now off your waivers. He's definitely the guy there as well. And as we see with Duran, the Twins have a ton of save opportunities.
I snatched him up in the fantasy 6-pack series. Yeah, we worried about Reagans and the 3 walks at all. I mean, I know the strikeouts are nice, but man, if he keeps walking guys like that, I mean, that's not great. Like you want to see that a little bit more under control, right?
Yeah, it's not great, but I mean, he's got the strikeout stuff to pitch around it.
Yeah.
He's not giving up a ton.
He hasn't had whip issues. I mean, last year is 1.074. I mean, that's insanely low. I think this is either their opening day. A lot of pitchers have talked about opening day being like super amped up for that opening day start. So that's what I'm thinking this is more towards. But like you said, Nate, he's got a ton of margin of error because he could just basically, I loaded the bases, cool, I'll just strike everybody out, no big deal. So, this be interesting.
Exactly.
All right.
Who's the next game? I know we want to talk Twins Royals all day.
Nationals Reds.
Another marquee lineup.
This one's it. Well, so this one's interesting just because, again, we talked so much about this Reds lineup, so it was interesting to see how it would kind of play out. Thier being all the way down at 7 kind of surprised me.
He had a huge game. I'm fine leaving him there.
No,
just be in the
line. True, but I don't know. I mean, I know they're trying to do the righty lefty thing. but
Yeah.
I don't know.
That drives me
That
insane.
seems.
Yeah.
I
But
know.
there's an argument to be made. He's their best hitter. So, and everybody had the shaken, not stirred Nick Martini with the big day, right? Of all the Reds, he was the guy.
Yeah, of course. And who didn't have Candelario as their number 4 hitter? I mean, I know he's a switch hitter, so obviously they could, move him either way. But I mean, I don't think I ever, if you would have asked me up before the season and all the injuries started happening, if Candelario would be anywhere above the, the 9 or 8 spot, I would think you're crazy. But to be the cleanup hitter, that's.
I will say what I love
go
the
over 4.
Sorry,
what I love
Nico.
the most from this game is Will Benson batting second. That was my favorite Red all off season, all preseason. His value was great. I mean, he was falling back to the high 200s, even past pick 300 in some places. I don't know what everybody's thinking with Benson other than will they platoon him? Will he not get that many back? I don't care. He's too good.
I think that's what it was.
Power, speed, and now he's hitting second. I mean, and of course the Friedel injury, which we already talked about, has something to do with that. But Will Benson's my favorite of all of them.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Nick Martini. Dave Eddy over on our DFS Discord channel posted one of his winning lineups today, and of course he had Nick Martini in it, and he said he played him a lot because he was obviously super cheap. Right. So, but and you wanted to attack with this Reds. The Reds were like his favorite team to stack with today.
Absolutely today. Yeah.
So
I mean, makes perfect sense.
I mean,
and that part against Josiah Gurry,
exactly. You took the words out of my mouth, right? And that park is amazing for hitting. So on the national side, ex-Red Jesse Winker, who came over, of course, also from the Mariners.
He'll be hurt soon.
Joey Gallo. I didn't, Joey Gallo in the 5 hole with his patented 1 hit, and Eddie Rosario. I mean, there's not a lot here. I mean, this is basically all waiver wire grabs if you need them.
Gallo's hit was a pop out, mind you.
We down here in Atlanta love our Super Rosario.
I can imagine. But other than that, again, going back to the Reds thing, just look at that lineup. It just makes me cry because that's, half the team that we weren't expecting to even see or sniff opening day. But Will Benson is definitely the sneaky ad there. If he's on the waiver wire, I bet you anything that your 4th outfielder is not as good as Will Benson. And more than likely your 3rd outfielder on your team is not as good as Will Benson. So definitely go out and grab him before everybody else does.
Yeah, another thing with the Reds, 3 stolen bases. Yeah, Fraley, De La
They're
Cruz,
going to run.
And these are Fraley, De La Cruz, and Steer all stole a base, and this is the 5, 6, 7 spots. They run from everywhere.
Gives a ton of course, RBI opportunities to India and Benson, which is weird for the top of the lineup. But when it turns back over and everybody's running around, gives them RBI opportunities for your top 2 hitters as well.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else on the Reds? Oh, all right. Next one up.
Sorry, I'm moved.
I'm
done.
We're
moving on.
All right. Blue Jays.
The game that made me cry in the 6th inning. Oh.
You want to explain to why what happened in the 6th inning?
Zach Eflin, you were doing so good. And then, oh man, you got destroyed.
5 earned runs in the 6th. Yeah, just a small destruction. People won't see that, of course. They'll just see the final line. They won't realize that he was cruising.
Dude, he had 52 pitches through 5, and then 30 pitches didn't even get out of the 5th or out of the 6th. 5 earned runs, just destroyed. I'm like watching it and just going like, stop hitting. What are you doing? No.
And the guy that started it, one of my other favorite sleepers, Kevin Biggio.
You don't know this, but Dap absolutely despises Biggio and thinks he should not be on the field because he also really loves his backup.
Snyder should be there all day long. Kevin Biggio, this is your
play them both. It's Counter Filippo that shouldn't be in the lineup. Come on now.
I agree 100%. But the fact is that they don't, the Blue Jays being the Blue Jays, like I picked up Schneider last year, and when he, came out of the gates and was doing, Joey Votto and spring training things, we're just hitting home runs and everything else. And they're just like, no, we're going to platoon him and Kevin Biggio for no reason at all. And we're going to play IKF all the time. And I'm like, why? So yes, I have issues with Biggio. Nothing personal at all. I swear, I never brought it up once in the show.
No,
but it's great
I've
to
never
see
heard
him
you say that name ever.
Yeah, it's great to see him hit a home run. I'm so happy.
Like,
for
what's
him.
our counter up to?
Yep.
Bavin
for the season, where are we at?
Yeah, Bavin Kiggio is like, I never heard you say that. I don't even know.
The one thing though here on again is I don't think the Blue Jays looked incredibly powerful until that, till the sixth inning. I think they're kind of scuttling, this in my mind, right? They're kind of scuttling there until the sixth inning, and things kind of erupted. It's going to be interesting to see the next game. I'll want to see if it was a slow start type of situation, and then the blow up, or if it was innings 1 through 5 is really what we should be expecting from the Blue Jays. I think offense.
Vladdy Guerrero Jr. Answering a lot of the questions about him from last year. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that home run he hit later in the inning, that was destroyed. 450 foot. I mean,
mashed it.
He blasted that ball.
Yeah.
And he hit 3 balls over 105 miles an hour today. So
he might be good. So you think he'll be okay then, Nate?
Oh yeah. And Bichette is another one of my I thought was a great value this season. Fall into the 3rd, 4th round of most of my drafts. Bo Bichette, I mean, the ceiling might be capped as far as other elite players around the league, but he's so consistent. I mean, the guy's never hit below 290 in any season. So I'm all about that as well.
Yeah, I had a chance to go Vladdy or Alonso, and I felt like I had to grab Alonso. I may have been able to wait on Vladdy like another round, but I got snaked. The guy next to me took Freeman after my first round pick, and then on the way back down, I was like, oh, all right, I'm getting, if Olsen can fall to me, that'll be sweet. I'll lock up my first baseman. He took Olsen, and then I didn't even realize he already had Freeman until like 2 rounds later. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Don't do this. And his outfield is a little beat up. It's but whatever. It is what it is. So I ended up going Alonso, and of course he gets rained out. So
I will say on the other side as well, Jose Barrios looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So the other problem, of course, here is if you look at the other side, right, with the Rays, I mean, good luck trying to figure out anything past the 4th hitter, right? You had Paredes, which he's a good start, and Palacios, who, I mean, with Cleveland was okay. He was a great kind of, if you're like a 30-teamer, like that'd be Richie Palacios. Amen Rosario, okay. He's pinch hitting, of course. Siri, who is great both on my phone and with the Astros.
Do his teammates call him Hey Siri?
No, what they do is they actually have him use his voice as their Siri thing. So it's really great.
My phone's just like, what do you want? Shut up, bitch.
Oh my God.
Anyways, but yeah, so good luck. If you ever can figure out Tampa Bay, please call in on the show, write me a note, tell me what's going on, because I, for the life of me, can never figure it out. I mean, again, Diaz, Lau, Lowe, and Azarina and Ramirez should be always in the lineup ish. Mixture somewhere, but the rest.
My shares from drafts were basically limited to Yandy Diaz and Jose Siri. I mean, those are the 2 values I liked from Tampa, and 2 guys I expect to be in the lineup more times than not. Siri, yeah, he's streaky, but his defense is so good. I mean, it was just like Kiermaier when he was there. Now in Toronto, the defense in center field is so good that it keeps him in the lineup. And Yandy Diaz just rakes. I mean, 3 hits today. That's pretty much in line with what we felt like last season. He was getting 3 hits every day. So he's a stud. But yeah, the rest of Tampa, and especially with all the injuries, Josh Lowe, it's like, man, it's a mess.
So we talked about Yandy Diaz. One of the things is he's great because he breaks that one, idea that not everybody gets to play in Tampa, and Andy Diaz, I think it's averaging 125 plus games a year,
135 plus.
Oh, sorry, I was off.
Almost.
And he has one of the most value for first baseman. So it's great. I'm a huge Andy Diaz fan. I just wish I would have gotten more shares of him.
Yeah, it was a matter of, did you believe the little bit of a power breakout last year? Because he never he always hit the ball very hard, but it wasn't like amounting to home runs. But last year, 22, pretty solid. But it was do you buy that again? And that's why his price wasn't probably where it should have been. But I get it. I mean, granted, he hit one today, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, next game. Cardinals Dodgers. Dodgers are good. Just maybe.
Miles Michaelis is not.
Yeah.
No, well, especially not against the Dodgers. But yeah, it was a bloodbath over here. Betts, Ohtani, Freeman. Oh my gosh. Everybody got in on the fun. It was
Gavin Lux did not. He struck out once and got me a negative half point. I'm very angry because I just picked him up today. When I saw that Julian wasn't starting, made a knee-jerk reaction. It was like, I need to have a full lineup.
So the question I have for this game, not so much the Dodgers or whatever. The Dodgers are going to do their thing, right? Offensively, not worried about them. Glasnow looked amazing, right? You worry with all the over 4s for Gorman and Arenado, and Goldschmidt had a great game, 3 for 4. He was the only one, right? So, I mean, literally the only Cardinal that got a hit, he got 3 of them. That's it. So
Goldie will be Goldie.
Was this more Glasnow just shutting everybody down, or is this a little bit of with Arenado? Because people were me included were kind of buying in on a bounce back for kind of this offense, especially Goldschmidt and Arenado.
Yeah,
I think that I think it's just a really good pitcher against the team. I think they're probably gonna have terrible the next 2 games too against the Dodgers. I think do they play Ohtani next, or is it Ohtani in the 3rd game?
No, Ohtani's not pitching.
Just kidding. I was kidding.
I don't know, man.
No, Gamble was pitching.
You're gonna gamble it away. But the thing is that I'm gonna wait a week, right, on this whole thing, because Gorman is, Goldschmidt I expected to obviously hit, but yes, I would start getting worried if Brendan Donovan still having 0 hits. That's more of a flag of how bad the game was. If Donovan gets 0 hits, Gorman gets 0 hits, then I'm less worried about Arenado. Because Donovan should be getting on base in some form or fashion. So with all that being said, I am at a 4 out of 10, 10 being absolute screaming, oh my God, we're in trouble, forget this whole season. But I was worried about the Cardinals going into the season. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna lie, though, the Cardinals' opening schedule for pitching is not going to be great. I mean, they get the Dodgers, then they get the Padres, who've got some guys, Miami, who could throw out some good arms.
Right.
I don't know who they're going to get. Then they get Philly, and then they get Arizona. It's gonna be a while till we're super okay with the entire series. Which, sorry, Dap, it's in the middle of April against Oakland. That is the first series that you look at. And you're going all right, now I can use my Arenado shares.
Yeah, but eventually they'll be facing
you just have the Debbie Downer face.
Yeah, Nate, go ahead. I'm sorry. You had you had something to talk
about.
No,
it's fine.
Bashing. No, it's fine. Please go ahead.
Eventually, the Cardinals will be facing a lot of NL Central pitching, which that should help them a lot. I will say though, nobody else had a hit for the Cardinals today. Glasnow was filthy, but Goldschmidt's not coming off his best season. It definitely looked like he was feeling the age last year after an MVP year. That's very encouraging from him. 3 for 4 with a home run off Glasnow. That's big, and he might be poised for yet another unexpected bounce back.
Yeah, I was buying back in on Goldschmidt quite a bit, but I didn't get him anywhere, unfortunately. But it is what it is. So, moving on to the next game here, Giants and Padres. I I don't know. Any surprises here from this lineup from anybody? I don't know. I'm looking at it and I'm not.
I'm sorry because that's exactly how I feel about when I looked at the Giants Padres initially. I was like, but then you start, of course, thinking a little deeper. But yeah, sorry, I was laughing because you basically summed it up for me. I mean, Conforto with 3 hits was great. 3 runs scored. I mean, that's awesome. He's all over the place there. Matt Chapman, their offseason acquisition there. Logan Webb, with a boring 6 innings pitched and 5 strikeouts. I think that's the thing. The thing is that this team, the Giants are going to do Giants things where it's like it's quiet. They're in the NL West, and you kind of just get they're doing what they're supposed to do. I think the story here, of course, is the Padres finally getting 4 runs. I mean, they were not looking good there until the 7th inning. I mean, yes, they had 2 runs scored, but I mean, it was great to see that, but no home runs. That's a little. I'm wondering about that one.
The Giants are kind of like the opposite of the Rays, but in the NL, because so the Rays will take like the young guys, right? And somehow like those magically like be good. Like, oh, we're gonna call you up or we're gonna trade for you.
Yep.
You were kind of a nobody, but you're gonna be really good for us.
Yep.
The Giants will take all the old guys and be like, hey, drink this, and you're gonna be really good. Like, here's the fountain of youth, and you're gonna be good for another couple of years. Like, it makes no sense.
So you're saying Noelvi Marte was helping them.
But they're also like just super under the radar, not talked about at all. Like, all of a sudden, at the end of the year, you're like, wait, San Fran's in the playoffs? Oh, all right. Like, cool.
I've got
like every year they won the World Series. It was like, wait, the Giants were good?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it.
Every other year, it's like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah,
Groundhog.
Logan Webb with the boring 5 strikeouts in 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Like, that's what Logan Webb does. Like, it's gonna be. That's it. So,
I mean, it's not boring, but it was. You know what I mean? Like, it's the Giants thing. I mean, Nate, are we missing something here? I mean, does it always seem like a snooze fest with the Giants, where it's like you don't even? Okay, that's great.
I mean, it kind of, and then they grabbed Blake Snell at the very end of the offseason, and I was like, have they had the best offseason? Everybody's talking about the Dodgers and other teams, but to me, as far as building a team, putting it all together, the Giants have had maybe the best offseason of anybody. Especially when
it's not talked about again.
Again, and I've got them. I think they get into the playoffs. I think these 2 teams, honestly, I was watching some of this matchup in particular today because I think these 2 teams could be competing for wild card spots at the back end of the NL playoff race. And I'm interested to see how both look. Yeah, Conforto getting 3 hits. And then, of course, we had Nick Ahmed with leading them in RBIs, right? So,
yeah, of course. One person we did have is Ha-Seong Kim. I mean, I love that guy. He's a top shortstop. He just doesn't get the love that he wants. I mean, he deserves 1 hit, 1 walk, and 1 run scored. But
swiped another base too.
Yep. There you go. I mean, just awesome.
Yeah,
and
exactly
Jackson Merrill. Yeah, Jackson Merrill finally, gets to start.
That's what I was gonna throw out there. 2 things that stood out for me. One is that both teams have a guy with the last name of Wade. Okay, first name. That's the last name, but the Merrill pick is actually, think about it, in 7 games from now he'll have outfield eligibility because he came in as shortstop, and everyone's looking at him like, what the hell is a shortstop? He's an outfielder.
Right.
I actually might try to snag him in a league. I think somebody dropped him after drafting him. I was hoping to get him as a late target in the draft. But yeah, so it's like, but we're only on day 1, yet he only needs 7 games to get it. I mean, technically, because the majority of drafts happened after the Korea series.
Right.
So it's like, it's kind of an
people
added bonus
forget about it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next
I will
game
say
up,
from
Pirates.
this game,
Sorry.
That game as well, it is important to note. I mean, Darvish looked pretty good, and that's he was a potential big value.
Back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, moving on here to the Pirates and Marlins. Jake Berger had a pretty solid game, I believe. So that was good to see. He was a good favorite kind of late pick for a lot of people. He was rising up draft boards near the end. This was our first extra innings game, and I believe it went 13 innings. No, 12. But yeah, I think they brought in Sixto Sanchez, and he allowed the game tying home run to O'Neal Cruz in the eighth inning. Yeah. So not a good comeback for him. But
the fact that he pitched and was able to.
The fact that he even pitched, yes, was good, but he needed to do better.
but Joe, let's talk. I mean, Joe, this is a question for you, and this is a question for everybody, right? How worried are we that Luis Arraez left this game with 0 hits? I mean, is he? He's his
0 for 6.
Right.
So 0 for 6. Yeah. Has he ever done that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I don't think he's ever gone less than like 2 for 6.
Right. No, I just calculated it, and his average for the season would be 0 if he did this in 162 games. So,
did you pull out a calculator for that one?
Yeah, I did. I had to.
That math does check out. Yeah.
He had an 0 for 5 last year in July against the Orioles. Oh yeah. But yeah, no, the 0 for him are not very
0 for 6
often.
Against Mitch Keller, who gave up 7 hits in 5 innings, 5.2 innings. I mean, if I would have told you that there's 7 hits, I'm thinking Arraez would at least gotten 1.
I mean, he's not going to be this. He's not going to be he shouldn't be the leadoff hitter. I mean, that's all there is to it, right?
Well, just drop him. If you're in the league,
least to like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
just put Tim Anderson up there.
Yeah, he had more hits.
We're good.
Exactly.
We're good.
Brujan, put Brujan in there for sure. But yeah, our boy Connor Joe, the best ball player in the world, especially when he was with Colorado. Sorry to see him leave there, but yeah, the Pirates with his normal lines of 2 walks and a run scored, and then Brian Reynolds, the hoss that he is, 2 hits and again with a home run. Any other kind of things that stuck out for you here?
The one thing that did stick out
one
to
more
me,
hitter down.
Yep. I was waiting.
Brian Hayes, go one more hitter down.
I was. See, that's an assist. That's Jason Kidd
setting it up for me. Brian Hayes, one of my favorite sleepers this year. The guy who I think if he can just put both halves of the season together from last year, could be an easy 2020 candidate for me. Probably the most interesting lineup position here is O'Neal Cruz down at 6. He was projected by roster resource to be their leadoff.
I don't see that lasting. I think this is them facing Lefty and Luzardo. I think that's the only reason.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that might be it. Should go over to MLB playing time with Curlin and then see what he had for lefties, because I know roster resource kind of favors their right-handed pitching lineup a lot. So
yeah, and I mean the big thing, like you said, with Brian Hayes, if he can put together a first and second half, he'll have a whole season of baseball. So it's good stuff.
Thanks.
I'm right there with you though, Joe. I had him good 50, 60 spots higher than most people.
Oh yeah, dude, I was all over it. I will say, Curlin over at MLB Playing Time did have O'Neal Cruz slotted in the 6th spot against left-hand pitching. So there we go.
Yeah, I think he talked about that when
he did.
We had him on actually.
Through one of his soliloquies.
Yeah. The best part about Brian Hayes for Joe was that he drafted him the pick ahead of a guy whose team name was Willie Mays Brian Hayes, and then he immediately
literally took it right in front of him.
Oh, what of the one thing though here is the 5th hitter, right? Henry Davis. A lot of talk about him being in the outfield and now back to catcher. He's still one of the best hitters that they have. So it was great to see him starting there at catcher and obviously keeping the catcher eligibility. Really great bat and catch, but only 1 hit at 6 at bats. That's not going to hold up at all. He's going to be a high average hitter. I love Henry Davis. Been all over him since he first got drafted. So definitely love to see him playing.
I would say, though, are the Marlins, after this game, regretting taking A.J. Puck out of their bullpen and making him a starter? It's not that they have much choice. I mean, they've got so many injuries up there, but I like A.J. Puck. I mean, we'll see him start, and I think he's going to do a pretty good job on limited innings this season. But, they could have used him in the bullpen because that's where the Pirates beat him today.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, Cubs and Rangers here.
That one just ended a little while ago.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
That went extras too, didn't it?
Yep. Rangers tied it in the 9th, won it in the 10th.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, who blew the save here? Alzolay blew the save. Not good there. We talked about the Steele injury already. He was kind of cruising, so that sucks to see. And he was cruising against this obviously really good Rangers offense. So that was kind of a shame to get that kind of a lost start, really, because you're not going to get the quality start. Not even, you can't get the win. But he put up good numbers, so you'll take it. Hopefully he's not out a long time.
I'd say an immediate note on that, the Alzolay blown save is watch for Hector Neris.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they've got somebody right behind him who can easily just jump in. Neris has done it before, although, as AJ knows,
Neris, they get Neris recently?
They did.
I missed that. Oh, shit. I thought he was.
But Neris has his own problems.
In spring still, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's had plenty of his own damn problems.
Yeah. I mean, nothing surprises me from this except for the fact that Nico Hoerner's all the way down at 7.
Yeah, I didn't love that.
I think that's an interesting one.
Went over
a lot of people
walk and a K.
But you drafted Hoerner because of the steals, right? And so if he's going to be batting 7th, it's going to really, it's going to lower his plate appearances, right? So that steals number now has to come down. I think that really hurts. I wasn't really like targeting Hoerner in a lot of leagues. We talked about this a lot, but if it fell with like the team composition that I was building early on, if I had like power, and then I needed like middle infield and I needed some speed, then Hoerner was somebody I was targeting. But for teams that went that route, this is a big blow to that. If he stays here for the long term, that's a massive blow, in my opinion. So on the Rangers side, Langford right in the middle, dude, that is phenomenal. Like, holy cow.
No, go a little further down. Go further down. That's the key. Evan Carter started against the left-handed pitcher.
Yes.
True. Although he only got one walk, he made it. I love it when I see these young players that are having a problem actually call out the problem. He said during the offseason that he wants to hit left-handed pitching, that he's not hitting left-handed pitching, but he needs to see it more. He's been sitting too long against it and needs to be exposed more. And the fact that he owned it, I thought was huge this offseason. So, I think, he didn't do great numbers in spring training, but I'm hoping that, they don't just make him a strict platoon. I think he still way too young, still shows a heck of a bat. And I think there's an opportunity there as well. So definitely glad that the opening day they were starting Evan Carter as well there in left field.
Yeah. Looks like our board Curlin over there has Carter plugged into that 8th spot, even against lefties, but against righties, he moved up to 4. Yeah. So that's good. That's what we're going to see. So, but hey, you'll take the at bats, and that means,
absolutely.
That's great for his fantasy value.
If you guys didn't see Adolis Garcia after his jack, it's quite comical.
Yeah,
it did not.
For those people watching, why don't you tell Nate? Why don't you tell them what happened?
I mean, you can't see from the camera angle where the bat actually landed from how far he threw it, but
I love ridiculous bat flips like that. I love bat flips like that. That's
yeah. I mean, he basically just didn't watch the ball and chunks it about 15 feet.
Nice. And Travis Jankowski coming in with the
everybody had that
homer off of Alzolay.
So here we go.
Make it full screen. There we go.
Yeah.
Boom. Just looks
Head
down,
down.
just throws
Looking
it
at the
behind him.
ground. Yep.
Wow.
awesome.
Don't
That
need
is
this
amazing.
anymore. Hey, bad boy.
That came from our boy Alex Fast over there at MLB.
Nice.
Good
Alex.
times over there. So
Good stuff.
All
Well,
right, let's jump.
The other, just one more little call out there, just because everybody had this on the bingo card. Garrett Cooper, the first baseman for the Marlins for years, and now obviously got called, was able to come off the bench in this game for the Cubs. He came in at catcher, which he's never done before. He didn't play catcher, obviously, but hey, one game down,
Yeah.
9 more to go.
Why not?
For him to
Does
get
that
catcher
count?
eligibility.
Does that count as catcher eligibility if he doesn't
He-
actually
he-
play?
Well, he didn't play catcher, but he came in as a pitch hitter and as a catcher.
I
didn't have
don't
a
think
chance
that counts.
It
I don't
counts.
know if that-
Shh. It counts.
For fantasy
In
purposes,
Dap's
it
world, it counts. All right.
Yeah. Thanks.
Guardians versus Athletics, and we actually did.
Best
we
team
should've
in
moved this up.
history, right there.
Go
Yeah,
Tribe.
Cleveland.
Jamie Perog.
Cleveland is the best team.
Here,
They made a movie about him. I think you saw it, Moneyball. Cleveland. No, sorry, that was Major League. That's right. That's the one.
Wow.
Moneyball was a documentary that sucked.
You done?
I'll be that guy. The book was better.
I think I'm done. What's that?
The book was better.
So this game's still going on, and it's very close. The
Well,
Guardians are only up by 6.
I agree, and I hate reading.
Yeah.
It
So
doesn't-
they're only up by 6 right now. And, it seems like everybody's had a hit,
here.
except for the top 3 people in the lineup, the Kwans, Ramirez's, and Laureanos. But everybody else from the 4 down have a hit, which is great. And they've scored 6
just
runs.
as we planned it, right?
Right,
Yep.
exactly, right. Who
With
didn't have
Jimenez
Fry
getting
with
in
2
there,
hits?
I was predicting a bounce back from Jimenez big time this year. I was in on him, dude. I think the big elephant in the room here is Stu River is not in the lineup.
Yeah, I
Like,
wanted to. I
what?
did want to legit talk to you about that because they have like a plethora of outfield options there, and Blade is going to be getting the starts at
Jamie.
center. You got Rooker at DH. Seth Brown and Butler are out there. Why? Well, I mean,
Yeah, Butler should be. Let's be honest here, right? Butler, if you believe Ruiz is your future, Butler shouldn't be playing. He should be the guy coming off the bench. It shouldn't be the other way around. If Ruiz's defense is better, I don't understand it. I don't understand a lot of things about the A's. It's one of the great things. The one thing they got right was Noda Giloff, right? 1 and 2 in that lineup. But you're right, 100%. AJ, Ruiz should be playing there. The one thing that I know, Nate, you were really high on Alex Wood. I think you had him as your top 3 starting pitcher for the season, if I remember correctly. Seeing the opening day starter Alex Wood, the stud Alex Wood. Any other things I could think of Alex Wood just getting blown up like everybody knew he was going to do. 3.1 innings pitched and 6 earned runs. I mean, God.
Yeah, the injuries have taken their toll on him.
yeah, that's very Alex Wood-esque.
I will say though, Shane Bieber is totally back because Oakland's stout lineup, and he's mowing them down.
I was all in on the Biebs for at least
For this start.
Their start.
Yeah.
He
Bieber
topped my draft list on a few
Well,
drafts.
I will say
Needs to
he
do
is sitting 92.4 with his fastball right now. That's actually notable. I mean, the last 2 years he has set 91.4 and 91.3, so he does have the velocity up a little bit, but maybe he's just jacked for opening day. Who knows? But he looks good, and I guess this is a major league lineup he's facing. So, I mean,
I think there's 3 major league players in that lineup.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't know.
We did talk about Billy Butler, so quality bat there.
Yeah.
For Oakland.
I mean, any other kind of things to call out here?
8 years ago.
Ramon Laureano, again, kind of going back to a guy that used to be. I like him in the 3 spot. I just don't know what's going to go on.
Fine. Just good luck. I mean, his batting average took a nosedive last year, but he was still pretty serviceable for fantasy. Other than that,
for there, but He was still running last year a little bit, though. I thought maybe
running
not.
away.
No, I have to look because I may.
Doesn't matter. Ryan Noda all day. That's gonna Ryan Noda.
I
That's
snagged Noda in a couple places, so yeah, I'm all about that being the leadoff. I don't know if I was predicting that one, but I will dig it.
Yeah, Zach Geloff again. Yep. Go ahead.
Red Sox and Mariners. This one is also still happening. We are in the top of the fifth. Boston's leading 3-2. So Castillo, 4 1/3, 4
Castillo,
3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Brian Bello, 4 with 2 earned and only 2 strikeouts. So
that's not the line I would have expected. I mean, I would have expected, more strikeouts and maybe more earned runs or more strikeouts and more walks. I hope this is not the new Bello where he's got control, but absolutely no. He's playing against a pretty good lineup with the Mariners right now. So it's that's not the lineup. That's not the line.
Yeah. No. So Devers has hit a bomb.
Are you big on Calzone, by the way?
I could go for Calzone. Where are we ordering from?
I was hoping to see Luke Raley, but that's not turned out. I mean, this kid earned it, and I'm kind of neutral on it. It's a wait and see for me with him.
Okay. I'm sorry, Joe. I cut you off there. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm good.
Oh. Cedane Rafaela,
and
they're on the Red Sox, right? He won the center field job, especially with his defense, getting the sacrifice RBI there out of the 7th hole. And then Yoshida is another person we were looking at. I mean, the other names there, Casas, we were expecting a hit from for sure. O'Neill is doing things. Durant hasn't had a stolen base yet. Well, he hasn't got on base, but we're expecting at least one steal. But yeah, Rafaela is definitely somebody I've been watching because of the fact that he was a top prospect there, but at the same time, was his bat ready? His gloves definitely ready, but was his bat ready? So it's interesting to see him already getting out there, not looking too overpowered, especially throughout spring training, but definitely like to wait and see what's going on there. Anything else kind of stand out for you there, Nate, on the Red Sox?
I got one of my favorite sleepers from both teams, Tyler O'Neill and Jorge Polanco. And I like seeing them around the heart of the order. I think O'Neill's bat really plays up for Fenway Park this year, and I think he's on the bounce back. A lot of metrics were better than – he was injured last season quite a bit, but even when he was in there, the metrics were better than the results. So I like him. Very similar to an Atlanta Brave now, back with the Braves. Adam Duvall went to the Red Sox last season. It didn't take him very long to hit 20 homers, and Tyler O'Neill could do that same thing this year.
Yep.
Like you said, Rafaela, I like the kid. There's some speed. There's some pop. Jaron Duran was another guy I loved coming into the year. I think his draft stock was a little lower than I thought it should be, mostly because he was injured last couple of months of last season. Louis Castillo, I'd like to see a little bit better of a line, but I think it speaks to the Red Sox lineup is a little bit better than most people think.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say kind of the same thing. I think the Boston offense is going to surprise people this year if they can stay healthy. O'Neill's story, right? Those are big ones that got to stay healthy in order for this lineup to stay intact and be competitive. The pitching's obviously going to be their downfall overall, but I think that's that.
I cannot wait to get to the last game.
This last game, holy crap. So we are at the end of the third. Has anybody not seen the score in this room yet?
I have not. I'm going to look at it right now.
AJ, before you look at it, what do you think it is?
What do I think it is?
Yeah, what would you think?
Yes. Rockies
what inning?
At Arizona, bottom
third inning.
Through three.
Through three.
Yeah, end of third. Sorry.
Rockies, Arizona.
It's not in Colorado. It's in
know.
Arizona.
Well, both have humidors or whatever they're
Apparently,
called,
they're the same place now. So
yeah. Through three, I'll go 7-5.
Wow.
Rockies.
The Diamondbacks just doubled that total in the third inning.
16
They have
to
24 runs.
No, they had
no.
14
There's
in the
7.
third.
They have
doubled the 7. All right.
16 to
What?
1.
What?
Yeah, they scored 14
Okay.
in the third
All
inning.
right. Hold on a second. Hold on. Here's another one. Every Diamondback has a hit except for one player. Who is the one player that doesn't have a hit?
All right, hold on.
Well, just look at this. Look at the
Corbin Carroll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, that's crazy. Like, of all the people.
I mean,
But
he
he
has 3
scored
walks and 2
twice.
runs.
I know.
He
Yeah, he
scored
scored
twice.
Yeah, he's walked twice. I get it. But
what
at
did
the
he
same
get
time,
hit by
like,
pitch and walked and
No,
then
he just
stole
walked.
4 bases?
walked twice. Yeah.
I guess
He
those.
has
Speaking
not
of those
stolen.
guys,
I'm looking at the.
Well, you can't steal because
Well,
everybody else is on
I'm all
base.
for that. That makes my
yeah,
Gallon.
Lourdes Gurriel has 5 RBI already.
Yeah, he might fit
Sitting on my
perfectly in the lineup.
bench. Oh no, actually, I
Oh.
think I threw him in because he was playing Freeland, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going after that one.
One thing that really caught me off guard here, though, with this lineup is Marte first and Carroll second. I thought that would be flipped.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. That was.
What did they? And I should know this, but I've blanked it out of my memory for a good reason. Playoffs against Philly, they did Carroll first, then Marte, didn't they? Or Marte would feel like hitting. He was
pretty
hitting
sure.
lower.
Yeah, well, Marte has been almost locked in that second hole, so I'm interested. The other thing that jumps out at me too is Zach Gallen through 3, only 1 strikeout
Yeah,
against the Rockies. I mean, that's again,
they're
that wasn't
trying.
Doesn't
They're at
make
least
me
making
as
contact?
happy
Is that what
about
that
my
means?
second round keeper.
Yeah.
He'll get the win, but oh yeah, we don't play wins in that league. Damn it.
Yeah,
quality
and
appearance
those
or whatever.
14 third inning runs, no
yeah.
homers.
Yeah, how wacky is that?
That's Arizona. That
nuts.
totally makes sense.
Like they did Gurriel hit a homer in the first to put them up 2-0. But
By the way, best name Blaze Alexander.
who doesn't have any stolen bases. What's the deal?
Can it
Has
just
a bum leg and doesn't run.
screams American Gladiators, man.
His Blaze Roger Dorn Alexander. Slowest man on the team.
All right. Well, I think that's it for us.
So
that's all we got, man.
Before you end it, I will go all the way back. Tony Reale, whatever his name is, style. Dap, I know what you were trying to do earlier. You were trying to get me to expose my love of the Phillies, since we have a Braves fan here as well. Is that correct? It's correct. I already know it's correct.
I'm just trying to pull you in and show your plethora of love for MLB.
Show I'm engaged. I get it. I'm always engaged. Okay, let's just get that straight. But yes, Nate, I grew up outside of Philly and am a lifelong Phillies fan. I've lived in Maryland more years of my life, sadly, I guess, than Philly area. Yes. So I'm also an Orioles fan as well. And I was an Orioles fan growing up because the Phillies just were absolute trash when I was very little. So, but yes, the division is yours. The playoffs are ours. So we'll see how it works this year. I'm hoping
it started in 1993. I've hated them with a fiery passion ever since. People talk about Braves, Mets. No, I mean, I don't like the Mets, but the Phillies, I hate
the Mutts. They're the Mutts. That's what they are, and they'll always be the Mutts. The Yankees' redheaded stepchild brother, which doesn't really work family, but yes, I'm excited for the season. I love the rivalry, and I wish Chipper Jones was still playing so we could just scream Larry in the stands. It's one of my favorite pastimes. Or was.
Diamondbacks' 14 runs in the third inning are the most in a single inning in franchise history.
Wow.
Congratulations.
So,
we just saw history.
We go ahead and say that Kyle Freeland is not a major league pitcher.
No.
I mean, I could have gone in there and given up 14 runs or 10 runs, 10 earned on 10 hits. I think I could have done that.
I mean, I could have done 14 in one
would have
inning
been homers.
easily.
They're not paying you $64.5 million to do that, though.
They can. I'll allow that. I'm okay with that.
I'll let it happen.
Yes.
All right, Nate. Thanks for coming on and just talking nonsense with us for the most part today. It's just a fun show.
Absolutely.
Obviously, it's one game for everybody outside of the Dodgers and Padres, but
the real rivalry starts tomorrow, Atlanta, Philly.
That's right.
There it is.
Yeah.
They just wanted. They just needed a reason. They're like, it's gonna kind of rain, and I work up in outside of Philly now, but it wasn't rainy. Like it rained on my ride in. That was it. I left.
Because everybody knows Wheeler Strider is the premier matchup.
Two of the best pitchers of the game. I mean, if not the top two, top three at least. I mean, Strider and then Wheeler's at least 2 or 3. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an awesome game.
Yeah, I love Zach Wheeler. That's another guy.
Nice,
right here in
interesting
my
flip
backyard.
there, AJ. I like that little. You try to slide that one in. That you put Wheeler first. That's a good one.
I didn't put Wheeler first.
Thought you said Wheeler, and then maybe
Strider, and then Wheeler is one of the
way.
top 2 or 3.
All right.
No, I didn't.
All right, Nate. Thanks for coming on again. Before we let you go, let everybody know where they can find you and what you got going on this season, man.
Oh yeah, over on Twitter at Miller_RotoDad. I'll be writing a couple columns a week over at FantasyPros.com for throughout the season. A couple more over at JustBaseball.com, and that's about it for me.
Cool. All right, man. Yeah, definitely check him out. He knows his stuff. Yeah, Nate. Hopefully we can do it again soon. Have a good night, man.
Absolutely.
Right.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Nate. All
right. So, yeah, I think that's it. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed opening day. And I don't want to ask if everybody has anything else because I'm afraid AJ will. So we're just going to go.
I'm good.
See.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye.
See you
Thanks, guys.
Later.